storage conditions for food products, especially damp conditions, can lead to the development of aflatoxins, poisonous carcinogens and mutagens that are produced by certain molds which grow in soil, decaying vegetation, hay and grains.
Aho tugiye ikibazo ni mu bamwe mu baguzi bacu cyane cyane abaguzi.
The problems we have usually concern our customers, especially wholesalers and retailers, as well as supermarket owners that may store the products in poor conditions for extended periods of time. Places that are damp and not well ventilated or mixed with other food products that can cause aflatoxins to develop.
Ibyo rero bitera ya aflatoxin kuza.
Nk'umwaka ushize twari twagize season nziza.
Last year we had a good season, 2019A. That season was not too wet, and you see, aflatoxins tend to increase when the harvest season is too wet. This year was just the opposite, and that resulted in a much higher rejection rate for maize cobs. Last year it was not more than 5%, and now it peaked at as much as 20%. Farmers say they understand the importance of properly storing their produce, though they face a number of challenges. You need good storage facilities with shelves, and before storing your produce, you should make sure the sacks are properly dried and treated to ensure that they can last long enough for when demand increases. I too face storage problems. We are very careful to check that the produce we buy is not dump. When necessary, we reject produce that fails to meet our standards. Officials at the Rwanda Agriculture Board say measures are being implemented to fight aflatoxins. There is a program to construct a factory that will produce Aflasafe that fights aflatoxins when put in the soil when crops are growing. The program is part of the budget, and next year we will look into how it can be accelerated. The Rwanda Food and Drugs Authority says substandard food products cannot be allowed to enter the market. Many grain products can develop mold, but the reality is that they end up containing Aspergillus flavus, that in turn leads to aflatoxins, which come in many forms, but there is one that is particularly dangerous, attacking the liver and causing a variety of health issues in the young, that includes stunted growth and body immunity problems. The World Health Organization says that aflatoxins in maize flour must not exceed 20 milligrams per 1 kilogram in general, and not more than 10 milligrams per kilo in Eastern Africa because of high rates of consumption, and in Rwanda, for children, levels cannot exceed 5% of those figures. Each year, 25% of the world's harvests are ruined by aflatoxins, and 420,000 people are killed by them, with another 600,000 falling ill.
Now, still on the same topic, this year is the second observance of World Food Safety Day following the success of the first celebration and commitment in 2019 by the Addis Ababa Conference and the Geneva Forum in 2019 under the umbrella of the Future of Food Safety. This year's celebration draws attention to action to prevent, detect, and manage foodborne risks, contributing to human health, food security, economic prosperity, as well as sustainable development. To further discuss that, I'm joined by Dr. Otto Viane Muhinda, the Deputy Representative of Food and Agriculture Organization in Rwanda. Good evening, Doctor.
Yes, good evening.
What does this year's theme, Food Safety, Everyone's Business, stand for, and what's the ultimate goal?
Yes, thank you very much. As you said, today, 2nd June 2020, marks the second annual observance on the World Food Safety Day. The theme of this year, which remains the same as last year, is food safety is everyone's business. The ultimate goal of this Food Safety Day is to bring awareness and inspire actions of countries, decision makers, private sector, civil society, UN organizations, and general public to help in prevent, detect and manage foodborne risks that contribute to the food security, of course, human health, economic prosperity, agriculture, market access, tourism, and sustainable development. This year theme of the World Food Safety Day reinforces the call to strengthen commitment to scale up food safety as it was made in Addis during the Food Safety Conference in February 2019 and in Geneva in April 2019 during the Food Safety Forum.
Absolutely.
Both being organized under the umbrella of the future of food safety.
Yeah. Statistics from WHO show that foodborne hazards are responsible for 137,000 deaths and 91 million acute illnesses in Africa every year. What's being done to manage these foodborne hazards right from production to harvest, processing, all the way to preparation and consumption?
Yeah, the food safety is a shared responsibility between government, producers, and consumers. So everyone has a role to play from the farm to the table to ensure the food we consume is safe and will not cause damages to our health. So 5 actions are recommended by the World Health Organization in Africa for government to ensure food, safe and nutritious food for all. That is the role of government. For the agriculture sector, for producers to adopt good practices. For business operators, that is the important also, to keep the food safe. Where we store food, where we trade food, where we distribute food, they have to keep the food safe. Then for the consumers, who has the right to claim for the safe food? So all of them, they have to team up around the food safety.
Speaking of consumers, Doctor, how well are we doing with regulating food safety in the informal sector, especially where consumers are forced to make trade-offs between costs and access?
I think there is a dialogue, and that is the most important. There must be a continuous dialogue between the consumer, who is the person who uses the food at the last, and the distributors or the business operators, who has the obligation to keep the food safety.
Yeah, before I let you go, maybe food safety is key to achieving several of the Sustainable Development Goals. How does the World Food Safety Day bring this into spotlight?
The food safety theme speaks to 8 among the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. The SDG 2 on zero hunger, SDG 3 on food health and well-being, the SDG 5, SDG 6 on water, clean water and sanitation, SDG 9 on industry, innovations and infrastructures, SDG 10, SDG 12 on responsible consumption and production, and of course the last one, SDG 17. Essentially, the 3 among this, the SDG 2, SDG 6, and SDG 12 are directly related to the food we consume. So today, as I said earlier, this is the right time for awareness and inspiring for all the stakeholders involved in preventing damages and contamination of food.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Vianney, for speaking to us this evening.
Thank you also for having me.
All right. That's Dr. Otto Vianney Muhinda from the Food and Agriculture Organization here in Rwanda.